Books and Booze, a bookish and wine-induced podcast from two book lovers who have never met. That is the power of the internet.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Yes, it is drinking time.
Yeah, it's past midday.
Yes. So what are you drinking today, Chiara?
I'm having the pre-mixed gin and tonics, but they're the pink ones, so they've got a bit of berry in them.
Well, the Gordon's pink gin.
Yeah. I've been having them kind of all summer long. They're so nice and refreshing.
Yeah, I had that for the first time over the weekend when I went camping. Talking about pink gin, I also had like a white wine spritz, which was it was something like pink white wine, but with strawberries in it, and then added sparkles to make it like spritzy, and it was actually delicious. Yeah, really, really good. So I don't know what you would really call that, but like a wine spritzer. Very nice. But today I am drinking a Tama Otter. It's a 2017 Sauvignon Blanc from Marlborough, New Zealand. And
Marlborough is beautiful.
Yeah, it's a really nice wine. It's just perfect really for pretty much any occasion, no matter what you're doing. And I like the simplicity of it because you know how a lot of wines, they often try so hard with the labeling on the back, and I love reading that. Like, it's really funny to see everything they try and pair their wines with and all the flavors these like experts pick up, but this one, it literally just says fresh, green, that's it, and it's just so perfect and simple.
I know, I always laugh like when you read it and you're like, ugh, I don't get any of that, I just get wine.
I taste alcohol. It tastes good. All right, so today we have a very exciting episode that we've been meaning to do for a while now, and that is our Bird Box book review and also the book to movie adaptation, because we both watched the movie recently on Netflix.
Yeah, so we were going to do this episode, I think, back in October because they were our Halloween picks. So it was this one and Pen Pal. But Jade was holding off reading it because she was like, I'm not going to like it. I'm not going to like it. I'm not going to like it. I'm like, just read the book. Just read it. And I was like, no, not thinking of it. I know you're like, I'm such a mood reader. I'm not going to like it. It's going to put me in a slump. I'm like, you're going to like it. Trust me. You're going to like it.
I trust you more now. Because I'm glad you loved it.
I mean, we've done this podcast, I think, for about 6 months now, and I think that I have kind of picked up on what you will like and what you won't like.
Yeah. Whereas you're very different to me. Like, I think I'm quite sheltered in what I enjoy, whereas you read quite diversely.
Yeah, and this year I'm definitely trying to add more kind of into my wheelhouse. So like every other month I'm going to try and read a classic and stuff like that, because I think that sometimes you do get stuck in a genre, especially if you're, on a roll.
Definitely.
And I think Bird Box is quite different for me because I'd say it's more horror, and I don't tend to read a lot of horror.
Yeah, I've been enjoying some horrors lately since the Books in the Freezer book podcast. And so what did you think of Bird Box?
So I rated the book 4 stars. I flew through it. I thought it was really enjoyable. It was really well written. It's a bit simplistic, but I think it needed to be.
Yeah.
Because you need that sort of pace of the book to feel the kind of tension of the book.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
What did you rate it?
I also rated it 4 goblets of wine. I also had my only qualm with the book was the fact that the writing was very simplistic, but I think it's what the author intended, because it did have such an easy flow, and I thought it was lightning fast. I really, really enjoyed it, and I just kind of wish that the writing had been a bit more beautiful, if you understand what I mean. He's got another one, which is called
House at the Bottom of the Lake.
Let me just have a look. Unbury Carol by Josh Malerman, which a lot of booktubers that I listen to, like April, she absolutely loves Josh Malerman, but she didn't like Unbury Carol, and the premise sounded really good, so I think that's one of the reasons as well that I was a bit uncertain about picking Bird Box up, is because I don't like it when you find a book that's so amazing by an author and then all the next books are just like gone to shit.
Like a
really
one-hit wonder.
Yeah, it just throws me off. But I am so glad I read Bird Box because I really did enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I do hope that some of his later ones are better. I mean, Unbury Carol was a novel from last year, and then I think he's also got one called Primogen, The Origin of Monsters from last year. He's got older ones like Black Mad Wheel, Goblin, A House at the Bottom of the Lake.
The cover of that looks really creepy.
Yeah, it does. But like, this is, I think, why I didn't really want to read this, like any of his books, is because they're quite dystopian. They're quite sci-fi and post-apocalyptic, and that's just not on par with my reading taste whatsoever.
So we both recently have just watched the movie. So the movie had Sandra Bullock, Trevante Rhodes, John Malkovich, Sarah Paulson, Jackie Weaver, Machine Gun Kelly, B.D. Wong, a very, very big cast. What did you think of the adaptation?
The movie adaptation left me... It's hard to explain because the book also left me with a lot of questions, but the movie left me with even more. Like,
yeah, it was very open-ended. Both, yeah.
Yeah, we never figure out what the hell is this monster or creature. The only sight we ever get of it is from Gary's drawings. So, I mean, we don't really know if they are accurate or if, like...
The drawings of a madman.
Yes, and, I mean, is this creature or monster, is it like Pennywise the Clown, where he can manifest into your deepest fear and then you go batshit crazy? Like, I just want to know who it is, and do these people, like Mallory and her kids and all these other people who are blind and stuff, do they have to live for the rest of their lives in a school for the blind? Like, I just need more answers, and it's infuriating me that I don't know them.
So you wish you had seen the monster / being / essence / UFO / whatever
the fuck it was. I don't know, because I think that could have actually made it kind of corny, because if we'd seen it, it wouldn't have met up to anyone's expectations.
And I think it takes away the fear if you see something.
But also, I kind of wished that the movie was more gory, because, I mean, in the book, there's a certain scene that I can only relate to as, like, the chapter Guts by Chuck Palahniuk. Have you read that?
No.
Oh, it's hideous. So there's a part in Bird Box where this woman has a baby and then she goes and kills herself by hanging herself from her umbilical cord.
Ugh.
And yeah, it was nasty shit. And I think that they really did skim over that scene in the movie, and a lot of the scenes, to be honest, were quite they were very padded with more gentleness to make it easier, I think.
Yeah.
But I just think that took away a lot of the horror aspect of it.
Because it's always easier, I think, to read something than to see it.
Yes, yeah. But also, I mean, even that umbilical cord scene was horrific. I had to put the book down. Yeah, I mean, I've never seen an umbilical cord. Like, you're a mum, I'm not. So it must be pretty gross. Like, is it really that thick? Like, can you actually wrap it around your neck and hang yourself?
Well, I had 2 C-sections, so I never actually ended up seeing my umbilical cord, but it's pretty long from what I can gather. I don't know about the logistics, but what did you think of the cast?
I really like the cast. I think it's great. Though I have to say, I am not the biggest Sandra Bullock fan. I think that she's quite boring. In my ideal world, I think Sarah Paulson, who played her sister, I think she should have been the main character, because she's incredible. she's in American Horror Story. I think that role would have suited her to a T, and she could have done an excellent job. I had no idea that Tom Hollander, who played Gary, was in it. So that was a really nice surprise because I really love his work too.
Mm.
Yeah, I really like the cast. I think it was a great. I didn't picture Tom being who he was though.
I liked Tom. I liked that they made him more of a character.
Yeah.
Like in the book, he's a fairly big character, but obviously in the movie, they had to put a bit more backstory and I think make you feel for the characters more because you're not in Mallory's head as much. I think so. They had to make her a bit more sympathetic, maybe. And I think Tom, I liked how the casting for Tom. I thought he was great.
What about the kids? What did you think of the kids?
Stuff with kids is so hard. I thought they did a really good job though.
Yeah, like I think they did what the director asked them to do, and that was great. But the book, it made them seem way more mature, way more in tune with their environment, more than you and I would ever be. And I feel like the movie did not portray that correctly, how trained they were to hear the things they were supposed to hear and to be able to pinpoint what direction they should go. And they didn't seem as smart in the movie than they did in the book, and it's one of the things that I found really powerful in the book. So I think they got that wrong.
I think also a scene that they really missed in the movie that they had in the book was, and it kind of showed you how stressful the situation really is do you remember in the book when the babies are really little and she was going to like pretty much burn their eyes so they couldn't see?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I think that, but how could they do that in a movie? Like that would just be, but I mean, she didn't end up doing it. So I think that they should have had her wrestle with something like that.
Yeah, like they needed that conflict with her morals and with her ethics and what is best for these babies. Like seeing that struggle would have been extremely gut-wrenching, suspenseful shit.
Exactly, and you want to do the best for your kids, but what is that? Is that making them blind so that they live, or is that, doing what's best for you as mother and not making them blind and trying to train them to adapt to their surroundings?
Yeah. One of the other things I feel like is the book did a much better job of really reiterating the fact that if you are already mentally deranged and you've been through the worst possible thing that you could possibly go through in your life, you could see these creatures or monsters and you'd be fine and you can carry on living with these dudes wandering around in the same world as you and just be like passing by in the street like your fucking neighbor. But yeah, like I think they really skim over that, and I think that there's a group of people that come and try and rob them at some stage, Tom and Mallory and the kids.
Yeah.
And they just seem like thugs. They don't seem crazy.
Yeah, I didn't get that either. I wasn't getting the mentally unwell vibe from them as much as just like douchey teenager vibe.
Exactly, and this monster is supposed to alter your psychological makeup, and it doesn't affect those that are like completely bonkers already, and they just seemed like more gangsters.
Yeah, because if you're institutionalized, I mean, you've got to be pretty far gone, I'd imagine, to be institutionalized, which is, I think, where kind of Gary came from, and he did seem very unhinged, Gary.
Yes, definitely. I mean, at first he seemed so normal and wonderful, but he played the role so well. He always plays these like super awkward little dudes. Like I'm more used to him in like Jane Austen films and stuff, so it was so interesting to see him play.
He gave me the creeps, the scene with the babies and Olympia and Mallory. It was horrible.
Can I hold your baby?
I was like holding my breath.
Yeah, just don't. And in the book, he was the one that was trying to tell them to gorge their eyes out. And did he do that in the movie? I can't remember.
No, I don't think so. What did you think of John Malkovich?
Which one was that again?
Doug. So the neighbor of BD Wong.
Hold on, I need
He
to
was the one at the beginning of the movie. His wife went out to kind of help Sandra Bullock, and then the wife died.
Yeah, I thought he was really, really good.
Yeah, he's always good.
I haven't seen much with him in it, actually, but really, really enjoyed him in this. I don't remember the part in the book where his wife goes and I think then walks into the car in the movie and puts herself on fire. I don't think that happens in the book. And that instantly has, and John instantly has it out for Mallory because of that scene.
Whereas I think in the book he's more like, don't put any more people in the house. We don't have enough food. We can't, trust. So I watched with my sister who hadn't read the book. And I think her not reading the book, she had a lot of questions. So I'm wondering if you haven't read the book, it might be harder for you to grasp the concept of this weird alternate universe.
Definitely. I think like the book, it leads you into it a bit more slowly, whereas
much more slowly.
Like the Netflix TV movie, it's just like, they're going to this appointment, everything's hunky-dory, fine, and then next thing, cars are fucking like going off the street and chicks are smashing their skulls into the glass, and you're just like, whoa, well, that came out of fucking nowhere.
That escalated quickly.
Yeah. I was like, what?
I was saying that actually, because I said that to my sister. It's not as quick as all that. Like, it's not like it happens and she goes into that house straight away. You see her trying to find a house with people in it for a fair chunk of the book. And the people slowly kind of trickle into the house. Like Olympia, she came there pretty quick, but in the book there was a little bit of time before she ended up.
In the book she was trying to survive and waited out, and then I think she ran out of food or something in the book, and she had to make the trip across the street or to her neighbors to go and be safe with them. And also Gary and was that Douglas? Was that Gary and John? They had a very tight friendship in the book, which I don't think was accurately displayed in the movie.
I think it was too quick. I think that perhaps if it had been a limited series, so maybe if they had done like 4 1-hour episodes or something like that, they would have had more time to slow the pace. And I think that would have kind of allowed for the tension better. Yeah,
definitely. Also, with regards to the cast, Danielle McDonald, who plays Olympia, in the book, Olympia is supposed to be quite an ethereal beauty from what I remember in the book. She's lovely, she's great, but she's not exactly someone extremely sexy.
I thought she was very immature.
Yeah.
Very juvenile-minded.
She seemed like a big kid.
And there was a lot of stuff about like the water and stuff that wasn't in the movie. The well, and then they thought that they were being poisoned from the well or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I remember
that.
And
they thought that the creature was in the well. I think that could have been quite good in the movie too. So I think it was quite rushed.
Yeah. I think they've tried really hard to bring it out way too soon.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been way better as a TV show.
What do you rate the movie? So the book was 4 stars for both of us. What did you think of the movie?
I think, maybe I don't know, like certain things about it were so great, like certain shots, and like it was beautifully done. The aesthetics of like the shots and the atmosphere and stuff, that was great. And the acting was great and the cast was great, but I just think it was way too rushed, and that's really damaged it for me. And I think it's going to be about a 2.5 star.
Yeah, I was going to say 3, 2.5, 3. It was good, but the book was better, which I mean,
definitely
is always the case. So I think maybe if I had not read the book first and I'd seen only the movie, I might have rated it higher. But yeah, it definitely fell short.
Do you have any movie adaptations that you think are as good as the book or better?
Oh, that's tough. I thought Girl on the Train was really good. We just watched that again the other day because Mitch finished the book, so he wanted to watch the movie, and I thought that was quite good. I'm trying to think if I can think of any that are better. Let me come back to it on our next recording.
One for me is Into the Wild by John Krakauer.
Yeah.
I think the movie is just as good as the book. It is the most gorgeous movie I've ever seen, with an incredible selection of songs by Eddie Vedder. And yeah, I cannot recommend the book and the movie enough. It just did so well. And I think the Harry Potters as well are pretty on par. There's certain things that were never included that you really wish, like Peeves Poltergeist and stuff like that. But for the most part, I think the Harry Potter books allows people that don't read to really enjoy Harry Potter for the magic that it is.
Do you think that they will remake those soon?
No.
You don't? Because if you think about how much technology has advanced since then, I'm wondering if maybe in like 5 years or something like that, they'll start remaking them.
I think it would be a while longer. How cool would it be if people like Ron, Harry and Hermione, what are their real names? Rupert Grint, Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson, like if they came back and played other roles, like Emma Watson played Professor McGonagall and Harry Potter played Dumbledore, and I think that would be so fantastic. And Rupert played his dad, or Professor Lupin or someone like that. I think that would be just so fun. Yeah, or put like Rupert in a role, Filch.
Or even if he played like Peeves or something like that.
Yeah, if they included Peeves, I'd be so happy, because I was really fucking peed off that it didn't include Peeves.
Peeved off.
See what I did there?
Yeah, I see. I love those movies though, and those books. I think they're great.
We need to get on our buddy read for book 3.
I know. Well, I have finished book 2, so we should record an episode on that sometime soon. So back to Bird Box quickly. Let me think about book 2 movies, and I'll answer that maybe on another episode. Have you heard of the dumb idiots that are doing Bird Box challenges?
The ones so they've got memes about it, about they're trying to live their lives blindfolded or something, and there's been like Bird Box, the creators have actually put out like a Twitter post begging people not to do it.
Yeah. You know, they're like driving with blindfolds on and stuff like that. It's so stupid.
I get the intriguing side of it. Like, okay, can a GPS actually really help you drive when you're blindfolded? But no, don't do it. It's just stupid, and you can harm other people.
Other people, not just yourself, other people.
Yeah, and your car that you paid a shit ton of money for. So, like, seriously, stop being an idiot.
Sometimes you realize that survival of the fittest really is a thing, because I don't think a lot of people with common sense would try that challenge.
Yeah, no, I think the people that do try it are probably the first to die in those situations. So, honeys, you're probably not going to get to the stage where you need to drive blindfolded, so just cut your losses and move on.
There was a picture, because you know how Prince Philip had a car accident the other day, and I thought I saw a meme, and he had like the blindfold on, and it's like Bird Box challenge royal style.
I didn't know that Prince Philip had a car accident.
Yeah, the other day he was driving and he hit a woman, and I think she had children in her car or something like that. I don't know. He probably shouldn't be driving. He's like 97.
Yeah, and I've just been hearing a lot of shit in the news about Meghan Markle lately, about how it's all been a scam and something about the royal aid, and I don't know what I think about Meghan Markle anymore. Like, I used to love her. But
I think that you just can't trust anything that they really put in the media. They loved her for so long, and then now all of a sudden she's persona non grata, kind of.
Yeah, like so many people, especially Americans, were loving the fact that the British were then, the royal British were bringing in someone from Black American, what's the better word for it?
African American.
African American. Like, they were bringing her into the mix, and it's just such a wonderful thing to the cultures and acceptance. And I mean, I could just imagine Meghan and Harry's kids being gorgeous, and that would be wonderful. But like, I've always enjoyed Meghan, and I really liked her, and I just cannot see a way out of this mess. Like, apparently Kate hates her, or it could all be false lies, but there's just one thing after the other.
I'm just going to go with it's all bogus and they want to sell papers. I mean, if you think about it, like Jennifer Aniston for 30 years of her life has been pregnant every week, if you believe those magazines. So
yeah, she's still got a body as fit as anything. I can only aspire to look like her.
I think that those royals, nothing is ever good enough. I mean, they did the same thing to Diana, and look where she ended up. So I think they should just leave them alone. You know, Harry and William, they're doing the best they can.
Yeah, I love Kate though. She's lovely. Anyway, back on to
She is beautiful,
what we're meant to be talking about.
Were there any other changes in Bird Box that you were frustrated at or annoyed at?
I don't think so. I think the kids one really stood out to me because that really did impact me a lot. How clever they were and the training she put them through. And they touched on it briefly of where are they in the house and stuff, but where is she in the house when the kids are downstairs and stuff. But it's not enough. But those kids were so smart, way beyond their years. They were incredibly clever, and I feel like especially the little girl, there's one stage where she wanders off into the forest trying to find Mallory, and Mark I think Mark asked, or it could have just been my head. I had a couple of wines while we were watching the movie, but I think he asked, like, is there actually something wrong with her? Because the little girl, because she's not clever.
Yeah.
She's just not. What about you?
I think that's about it. I think there was a scene in the book with dogs, and one of the dogs actually goes crazy. I think that they could have involved that too, because it kind of showed that no one's really safe, no animals, no humans.
And it doesn't take that much special effects to make something like that happen. Obviously, you can't make a dog do that, but you could really just invest that little extra money. I mean, that was a big part, and that the huskies and stuff that were in the book, they should have been featured. They were wonderful parts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and who was the other character? Felix. He was the one with the dog, and he was so wonderful in the book. I really liked Felix's character.
Yeah, me too.
And I feel like in the movie he was just this horn dog that was all over Lucy, who was Rosa Salazar or whatever her name is. It just wasn't a good portrayal of some of the characters.
Again, too rushed.
Yep.
Needed a little bit more time.
Exactly.
And I'm surprised Netflix didn't do that, because they're big on limited series. I mean, like Alias Grace, I think is 6 or 8 episodes.
I haven't seen that.
That's a really good show. I liked it.
Oh. While I'm unemployed, I might as well watch some stuff.
Should we move into Boozy Banter, or is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
I think Boozy Banters are great.
Do you have a lot? Because we just recorded a special episode on Saturday.
Yeah, we did. So you're probably going to get that a little bit later. So what we've been enjoying won't come out for a while. But,
it'll be out of sync, but that's okay. We'll just continue teasing you for this exciting episode that's coming up.
It's so just to put a little bit of excitement in your bonnets, it is probably the biggest interview we've ever had, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not an author.
It's not an author.
But you guys are good.
Yet. You never know what this person may do.
Yeah. And she's huge. So, yeah, we were extremely... Well, Chiara was the person that got all this together, so she is amazing. And I just can't thank you enough, because that was so good. It's the best fucking episode ever. This one will come out before that one, and I'm literally frothing. I said to Mark, I am frothing to release this episode because it's so bloody good.
But we have a time constraint, so we can't release it for you guys yet. It has to coincide with something. So we will get our enjoyment at the moment by teasing you every chance that we get.
Yeah, this person's publicist told us we can't release it until we get the go ahead, and it's very annoying because I just want to share it with the world.
So, Boozy Banter, what have you been enjoying?
Well, I went away camping, like I mentioned, with the person that we interviewed recently. and that was wonderful. Really, like, I think the next couple of weeks, because I'm heading back to South Africa in about a month for a wedding and to catch up with my family for the first time in a year. And for the next couple of weeks, I think we just really want to lay low and do a lot of camping, which is going to be so nice. Like, hopefully it won't be as expensive, because the place we went to this weekend was $57 a night for an unpowered campsite, which is insane. So hopefully we can find a cheap little plot of land to pitch our tent and just camp, because I love that. And it's such a good time to just enjoy nature and reading and stuff like that. Like, and while we were away, I've still been reading The Au Pair by Emma Rue, which I'm still thoroughly enjoying. I see that you're buddy reading it with, is it Jocelyn?
With Jocelyn, yeah.
Yeah, I think you guys are gonna like it. It's quite slow paced.
Which I have read. It's a bit Agatha Christie, and I'm not, don't kill me, anyone. I'm not a huge Agatha Christie fan. Something about her writing just doesn't vibe with me.
Okay.
I've tried a few books.
I haven't read Agatha Christie. It's nice. I like it. On the book it says it is the thriller debut of 2019 or something like that on my copy. So I've got the uncorrected proof, which I literally have not been able to pick up many mistakes at all, which is great. But it's just a bit slow paced, and I think that's why I'm going through it a bit slower. I'm about 270 pages in now, so I'm almost I'm nearing the end. But the other one, that while we were driving, Mark and I went from Caloundra in the Sunshine Coast to Noosa on the weekend and had a day out in Noosa hiking and swimming in this like aqua blue water. It was insane. But on the drive, it's about like a 45-minute drive. We were listening to Tiny Beautiful Things by Cheryl Strayed, who wrote Wild. Luckily, Mark was driving on the way there, because I bawled my absolute eyes out. It's so Cheryl Strayed used to be a writer, and she had this column, and people used to write into her for advice on any kind of shit that you've got going on in your life, whether it be that you're gay, or you've been cheated on, or you've lost a child, or your marriage is going to shit, like something like. So it goes through different chapters of all these people writing into her and her responses. Even though I haven't been through anywhere near as much shit as these people have been through, it's just so emotionally charged and so brilliant. Her advice is fantastic. Mark, he's a big fan of her now. He says that she's very raw, she's very real, she's down to earth. It's one of the best self-help books I think I could have ever had my hands on. So yeah. Otherwise, we got back from camping and decided that we haven't watched Shameless for a while, so we watched an episode of Shameless. And then I have been watching The Bachelor, which I know you hate, so I won't bore you with that, but it's good.
So me, what have I? So I'm still reading the library book, which is the.
Is it good?
It is good, but it's slow. Like, it's not like a page turner kind of thing. So it's very factual, but there's stories about like librarians and all that sort of stuff, it's very fascinating. So I kind of read like a chapter or two of that a day.
Okay.
I'm not in a rush to finish it or anything like that. It's just sort of there. And then I've been reading the Winter Street books. They are very quick reads. They're very bingeable. They're just about this family in Nantucket and all the drama that's kind of going on with them. So they're nice kind of summer books for when you're just kind of sitting there and relaxing, or you're outside and you have a bit of time. And I'm really enjoying those. I think there's 4 books in the series, so I'm on book 3 at the moment.
Who's the author
of that? It's Ellen Hildebrand.
Okay.
So they're just light, fluffy kind of books, but they're really enjoyable.
Okay.
And then I am starting The Au Pair today. I have already read 2 chapters of that, and I really enjoyed the writing.
Yeah, the writing's really good.
She's a great writer.
I've been reading it for far too long now, because I haven't had that much time to read physical books, I think. And I think that's what's making it not as enjoyable, is that I've taken my time with it. But yeah, the writing is good. It's not great. Like, I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite writers, but it's intriguing, and I really want to know where the book's going, but it's extremely thick, and I feel like I
It
haven't
is a
reached the
big
end
book.
yet. Yeah, I haven't reached the end yet, but I feel like it could have been shorter, even though I haven't finished it. Like, there's just a lot of shit in it.
I wonder what the motivation is, because at the moment people seem to be putting out really big books with a lot of stuff that doesn't need to be in it.
Like Stephen King style, like 15 pages describing a freaking windowsill. I hate him. Sorry.
And then I listened to the audiobook, one of your recommendations, which was Dark Matter by Blake Crouch.
And?
I really, really enjoyed it. I think I rated it 4 stars.
Yes!
It was really fascinating. I mean,
so
the thought
good,
of like watching someone you love die over and over and over again in alternate realities, and you're trying to get to them, and that's all you want is to be with that person. And it was really good. And the audiobook was great. The narrator of it was fantastic. Did you listen to it on audiobook, or did you read it?
I read it. I don't think I had the audio back then, but I think that I actually kind of added to my suspense with it, because I could not put it down, because it's one of those books that is so suspenseful. You're rooting for this guy to get back to his wife and child. If you'll like go to another chapter and it's something else, and you're like, no, like he needs to get back.
Not right,
and reading, So yeah, it was so good.
And we mentioned he has another book out this year. That was one of Jade's picks for her most anticipated books of 2019, I think.
Yes. Did I write it down? I think I should have, if I was clever.
While
it
you're
was
trying...
Recursion by Blake Crouch, which is getting released on the 11th of June.
So maybe that can be our buddy pick for June. If it comes out, depending on when it comes out everywhere. And then while actually we're on Buddy Reads picks, we'll mention that the pick for February will be the book that we picked for the Lux Reads box. So if anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, check out the Lux Read Instagram. They have a subscription box that has like fun little things that go along to like help your reading ambiance. And we were lucky enough to be asked to pick the February book. Then I started watching The Marvelous Miss Maisel last night. Have you heard of that?
No.
It's won a lot of awards recently. So there's only 2 seasons of it, and it's by Amy Palladino and Daniel Palladino, who do Gilmore Girls, which I know you're a fan of Gilmore Girls, yeah?
I love Gilmore Girls.
So my sister and I started this last night, and it's so beautiful. It's set in the 1950s, and it's basically this woman, and she is Jewish, and she has her whole life planned for her. You know, she goes to college, she finds a husband, she has kids. She just wants to do things for her husband, and then he decides to leave her for his secretary. So she decides to become a stand-up comedian, which in the 1950s, I don't think there were very many female stand-up comedians, but it is beautiful. Like, the characters, the cast is really good, the acting is really good, the costumes are beautiful, the scenery is beautiful. Yep. I highly recommend it. We watched 3 episodes last night, and I can't stop thinking about it.
Awesome. I'll go check it out.
Yeah. And then one more thing is I downloaded this app called Forest. So on the JP episode, I was mentioning how I'm kind of putting my phone on the other side of the room when I want to read so that I don't get distracted. But what this one is you plant a tree and you say how long you don't want to be interrupted for. Yeah, and it grows. But if you get out of the app for any reason to check something else on your phone, then the tree dies.
And you can choose the type of tree as well.
Yeah.
So you can choose like cherry blossom trees or bonsai tree, or that you can choose.
Yeah, and you can you can earn rewards for however long you kind of have been focused on your activity. And I think that'd be good for like if you're working in an office and you don't want to be distracted by your phone, or when you're reading, or when you're spending time with your family, or even like I think that maybe when I go to a restaurant or something with someone, or I'm hanging out with someone, I might do it.
Yeah. I had that app while I was working at Cole, and never got to the full tree.
Didn't you?
No, because I've got this app called, let me check what it's called. It tracks how often you unlock your phone and do shit on your phone, and I am really bad. Oh, it's called Your Hour.
Mm-hmm.
So your time in your hand. And it basically tells you your most used app, most visited app, your addiction level. So today mine is dependent, which is okay. That's like 3.5 to 4.5 hours per day. And that says you've grown pretty dependent on your phone for small tasks. It is still your support in most ways, but then you get like obsessed or addicted, and addicted is more than 5.5 hours on your phone per day. So it tells you everything, and it gives you what times you use it the most. It's really interesting, and it said like, so I've got an unlock count on my phone for 50 unlocks during the day or for a day, and right now I'm on 45. So that's pretty scary. It's only midday.
So you only have 5 more that you are allowed to do today?
Well, yeah, like it won't block you out, but it'll send you over, and then it'll tell you, listen, you're not on.
Yeah, like you're in trouble. It'll yell at you. I've got screen time set up on my phone, so I only like allow myself a certain amount of time on social media a day. When you go over it, it locks you out, but then you can say ignore limit for 15 minutes or ignore limit for the rest of the day. So I try not to do that, but at least then it'll lock you again in 15 minutes, and it just makes you aware of how easily it is to waste time scrolling through stuff.
Yeah, it's really hard. We are podcasters.
Yeah.
We are Instagrammers. We have things like our lives of what we want to do with podcasting revolves around social media. So to limit it to, I think it's 30 minutes per day is the recommended use time for these apps. It's very difficult for me because I could spend hours on Instagram, and it's not that it's just for fun, it's that I'm actually trying to market and engage, and I find that really difficult to explain to certain people. Like Mark doesn't get it. He's like, why are you on Instagram? Like it's not good. You're playing on your phone. Like I'm not playing. I'm trying really hard to like get the podcast out there.
Yeah, and our big thing I think is we like to answer everyone.
Yeah. Yeah,
Which
we
it takes time.
Yeah, we love communicating with the environment and those people that actually listen to us. And I'm not very good at it, but I've been trying really hard to get into Twitter. I still don't really understand it, but I'm trying to, every time I listen to someone else's podcast, I'll write them a tweet, and I'll be like, hey, like I listened to your latest episode and these are my thoughts, and it was so nice to hear about you guys like discussing this, and I really enjoy talking to people about what they're doing. And I think if you communicate to other podcasters or other people that enjoy doing what you're doing, they'll become intrigued by what you do, and it's all a flow.
Yeah. So that does make it hard to limit social media time. But in those cases, I tend to not lock Instagram down, and then I lock everything else down.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Facebook, and then I don't use Twitter. I'm really bad. I'm like Instagram all the way.
I'm not really big on Facebook. Everyone thinks I am because I post so many pictures. But I'm actually not. I don't like Facebook. I never scroll through my feed. I never really look at what anyone else is doing. The only reason I like uploading photos is because I live in Australia where I don't have anyone. So all my friends and family are overseas. And I love being able to share with them what I'm doing, because I know especially people like my parents, my grandmother, they really appreciate just seeing the photos and knowing I'm alive. Yeah.
It's always important.
Yeah, like just do it in one post, like rather than sending everyone the same picture separately, which chows your Wi-Fi or data. Anyway.
So that was our Bird Box wrap up.
Awesome.
We will hear from you guys soon. Let us know if you liked this episode. We have one planned to talk about You as well. Not You, but the TV show You. The book You. But we're enjoying doing these, and we're enjoying that there's a lot of book to movie adaptations coming out at the moment.
If you have anything to say about Bird Box, even though this episode is over, let us know, and we might feature it in an upcoming episode. You know, these things don't just end and then they're over. Like, these can be continuing discussions.
Yeah.
in our boozy banter episodes for the next episode. So that's great. And also, before we sign off, I just wanted to let you guys know that we are still in the Australian Podcast Awards. We are in the top 10. And if you want to vote for us, it would truly mean the world to us.
Yeah. It honestly only takes about 2 minutes.
And you don't get spam email whatsoever. Like, we haven't had any spam mail from anyone that's signed up and has voted for us. No one's received anything. So
yeah, and I think that it makes me and Jade very teary whenever someone tells us that they voted for us, and we've had some beautiful messages of support from people. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, and we do have a giveaway at the moment where I'm giving away a box of books that I've got duplicates of. That they're mainly thrillers and horrors, but if you're interested in that, then let us know, because I'm going to be giving away about 5 books to someone who has sent us a screenshot of their vote for us in the Australian Podcast Award. So it's international, so no matter where you are, if you vote for us and send us a screenshot, you are in the running to win about 5 thriller books from me.
And if you have already voted before the giveaway was announced, you can actually just go back onto the page and it will say voted +1, and you can just screenshot that and send it to us.
Exactly.
All right.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Cheers, guys. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Books and Booze. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter under BooksBoozePod, or email us at hello@booksboozepod.com. We're also on Patreon if you'd like to support our podcast by donating as little as $2 a month. If you're looking for a free way to support us, then you can leave us a review on Apple iTunes or Stitcher. It really helps other people find us. As always, it's been a pleasure. I'm Jade, and you can follow my Instagram at boho_bookworm, and Chiara is my co-host, and you can find her under bookish.kiki. Until next time, happy reading and drink responsibly.